Hey guys, this is Katie here, and I just wanted to come on here and show you how I do this eye look. This is basically what I was talking about in my last video, the how to do purples better video. I think that's what it's called. But in my purples video, this is the technique that I talk about. So I walk you through how I would do that. I just didn't do purple today. I did green. If you like this, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you like it. So just stay tuned. Let's get to it, all right? Okay, so right now I just have my eyebrows on. I don't have any moisturizer or anything else underneath, so I'm looking a little weird. Like, I'm looking a little bizarre. But I'm just gonna walk you through this, and hopefully it helps you out in the future. But first I'm gonna start with the Urban Decay Primer Potion. I just apply to my eyes, like so. Just kind of get it on there, make sure I've got a good amount. Now that that's on my eyes, I'll take my Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. It's just kind of got a real flat end to it. I take this and I just pat it in. And then once it reaches a, I guess, certain density, I start buffing like I would if I was putting on eyeshadow. I just make sure I have a good, nice amount and it's all even. And it's just covering my whole eyelid. And I go all the way up to my eyebrows. And I blend it into the concealer that I use to cut out my brows. Just kind of do one of these. So now that that's all blended out, now I just need to set it. So what I'm going to use is the Kat Von D blotting powder in light. You can't even see that, but it's shade light. I'm going to use that with a setting brush from Real Techniques. And I'm just going to swipe in, and then I just pat it all over my lid. Make sure everything's nice and matte and everything's nice and set. Because my eyes tend to grease up during the day. I just get a lot of natural oils, which I actually prefer. Like, I put oil on them in the morning, and I put oil on them before I do this. So that's what I did before I did my eyebrows. But I just want to set it, make sure that I don't get any creases, and that all those oils stay where I want them to stay. What I do is I'm going to take my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Bean, this is black. I'm just going to take a brush. So if you work on other people, this is what you would be doing with it. You would just take a brush to dip in. But mine's actually just kind of like choppy. I've basically ran all the way through it, and I don't have a pencil sharpener big enough to sharpen it. And every time I go to pick one up, I just forget about it. So what I do is I just dip in there, make sure I really coat the brush, and then I start at my lash line, and I just kind of start dragging it out. And I make sure I get all the way in there. It's not going to look pretty. This is actually going to look pretty awkward. Okay, so right now this is what I look like. I look like I did in 8th grade when I went through my really strong emo phase. Now that I've got all this black eyeliner all over my eyelids, I'm going to take the Melt Gemini palette, and I'm going to take the shade Bonnie, which is this black shade right here, and I'm going to start blending this all out. You take the e.l.f. C brush to do that. I'm using this brush because I recently just used it with black, but this is the type of dense brush that I was talking about in my last video that I said I would use to do this. So I start just like I did when putting it on at the lash line. It's more of a tap than it is anything else right now. Just kind of really mattifying and blending that out. And I'm going all the way up to the crease, but I'm not taking the most amount of pigment up to the crease. So my reason for that being is because I don't want to have muddy eyes. I just want to have a dark base. I used to do this before work if I would lay down like a bronze color, and now like looking back I'm like, I don't have that kind of time. And that's the truth. Like, I don't have time to do this before work, but if I'm going out, wow, so nice of you to pop on in. But if I'm going out or something, this is the move. The next palette that I'm going to pull out is the Morphe 3502 palette. Okay, so I'm going to take the Morphe 441 brush, M441. I'm going to dip into a brown, and I'm going to go straight into that crease, lower than where the black starts. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing over on this side. I'm just going to go a tad bit lower than that crease. And it really matters how I hold my brush, because if I hold it a certain way, I'll start blending up instead of blending down. The goal is really just to blend that harsh edge out. So just right where that black is getting ready to blend out. And I'm just going to do circular motions, as so. It really helps to look at it from underneath than it does to look at it over top, just so you can see exactly where you're applying. You don't really need to close your eyes all the way, even though mine do look closed, but it's not. One just looks closed from the angle we're at. Honestly, the key with doing a look like this is to just keep blending. It gets so harsh so fast, but then it all comes together at the end. There's certain things you have to do too when pulling off a look like this. You have to take the darkness away from the center somehow, and usually you can do that with bronzer. Just depends. The reason why I say that though is because you'll have these really dark, small eyes, and then everything else will just be washed out. So, not the goal. I'm going to take this base shadow brush from Real Techniques. I'm just going to kind of swipe over those really harsh lines. This brush probably already has a brown shade in it. It's not a clean brush, but it's going to do what I need it to do. I'm going to go back in with that same black and that same crease brush, and I'm just going to tidy it up so I can see where there's some spots in it, which we don't want spots, that are just a little hazy looking. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to go back in with that Morphe brush and just keep cleaning up. I'm not applying any more product onto this because I have enough pigment, I have enough product, I just need to disperse it evenly, okay? So, my next action would be I'm going to take, this is my favorite blending brush. I have washed this so many times, it never loses shape. This is my go-to transition shade brush. There's like a little fuzz on it. I'm gonna go into the shade Luna on the Melt palette, and I'm just gonna go right where it starts to get a little patchy, which is right under where you see the very end of that pigment, and I just start blending up. I'm barely putting any pressure on. I'm just getting rid of that harsh line. And I'm doing circular motions in a rainbow type shape. I'm hoping I'm not too far away. Like, I'm hoping that we are getting the idea. Okay, so I just brought this in a little bit closer. So this is the eye that I have blended with the transition shade, and this is the eye that I haven't. And you see the difference, how we just kind of like have this, it looks blended, but it's not blended compared to that. So like I was saying before, I just barely touch right here, and that's where I go. I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, tell me it doesn't so I can work on explaining it. Okay. So I'm now going to blend this eye with the transition shade. And like I said, I just start right underneath. So one thing I did want to bring up about this brush is that sometimes when I'm blending, it looks like I'm going all the way up to my eyebrows, which sometimes I am, but sometimes I'm not. So the shape of this brush is like a dome, and most of the pigment, when I put it on, I put it right here, and what I'm blending with is that part right there. So it might look like I'm going all the way up to my eyebrows, but it's really just... It's really just... This is just touching the center. So I'm also coming in right here, make sure there's no harsh lines, kind of running over all of it. This side has a really harsh line. I'm also going to go back in with that Morphe brush and just kind of clean up right there. Make sure I don't lose any detail, because sometimes that's the problem, is that I'll lose detail from blending too much and then it looks muddy. So not the goal. But this is how the base looks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the rest of my face without bronzer, contour, highlight. It's not that time. But I didn't put that on because it's black, it will have fallout, and I don't want that in my foundation. So I haven't even toned my face. All I did was put my eye oil on. Eye oil. So what I'm about to do is I'm going to wipe my face off with this. I actually really recommend this. You can buy this on Amazon for 3 of them for about like $17 to $20. Really depends on the day. Then after that, I'm going to go in with my Glam Glow moisturizer, and I'll also moisturize my lips. And I'll also moisturize my lips with the GlossierBalm.com. You can't even see that. It's so bright. I'm running out of this, and I'm really wanting to try the Bite Balm. It's like the agave lip balm. I'm interested. I might prime my pores because they're huge right now, but I'm also running out of primer and I'm not going anywhere tonight, so might not. I don't know. I'll decide that here in a minute. Okay, so I'm back. I'm back with my foundation, concealer, and it's set. I use the same blotting powder to set my face. We are going to continue the look. I'm going to get back out that Morphe M441. I'm going to go into the shade Luna. And buff that all out. I'm going to go into that original shade I used in the crease after doing the black. I'm going to start right out here in the corner. Blend her in. Just going to darken that up. Woo! There she is. You see that? I'm just gonna buff that out. We'll survive. Also, while I was putting on my foundation, something had happened to the inner corner on this side where I basically took off all the black, and then I couldn't relay down the black liner, and the reason why was because it was already set and it was having a fit and it was just getting out of hand. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go into the Smoke Sessions palette by Melt. Can I just say that these are my favorite eyeshadows ever. These really, like, anything from Melt I haven't been disappointed with, and that's a bold statement because I'm a negative Nancy. Okay, so I'm going to go into the shade Mean Green. It is a I mean, here, I'll let you see it. It's more, it reminds me of like an evergreen. It's an evergreen. Okay, so I'm gonna take this, put it on my middle finger, and I am going to pat all over my lid. I'm gonna go up by the crease. I'm gonna go up by crease. There it is. You see it? You see that shit? I'm gonna take my Morphe M441 and just make sure that I blend out those edges, because let's be honest, they looking like a hot mess. I'm gonna go into Sweet Tooth, which is this little teal. I'm gonna go right into the center. Okay, so this is the close-up I have going on right now. This is so Instagram moment for me, but this is what we got. I'll do like a full HD close-up at the end so that you can see everything, even every single pore. But we're gonna move on to the bottom lash line, the inner corner highlight, and the highlight I put under my mouth. I'm going to go in with this little flat shader brush, and I'm gonna go into Mean Green. Let's So I'm going in with the ColourPop Super Shock highlighter. This is the shade Flexitarian, which reminds me of Logic, because Logic has a song out and it's called Flexicution. And so anytime I say Flexitarian, I just automatically think of Flexicution. And if you've watched the Logic documentary, it's not even a Logic documentary. It's multiple rappers, but he's the first episode and it's on Netflix. There is a kid that sings Flexicution and he kills it. I mean, like, he knows every word. And when we went and saw Logic, he pulled a girl up on stage to sing with him, to rap with him. And she killed it too. So he is watching people in the crowd. Like, he gets a good 12 songs in before he gets you up there, and he's watching. He's watching to make sure that you know all the words before he gets you up there and embarrasses you. Unless there's videos of people that have been embarrassed. which at that point, just own it. Make up your own wrap. I'm applying this with the Morphe 421 brush. It seems like I have a lot of Morphe brushes, but I really don't. And I don't order off their website. I just buy it at Ulta because it's something I can see it in person. I can feel it in person. The only issue is that after I wash them, they tend to fall apart. And I've never heard a YouTuber complain about that. Like, never ever have I heard someone been like, yeah, these are junk after you wash them. So I don't know if it's just because I'm getting mine from Ulta and they're getting them, they're sent from them, or they're just really not disclosing the fact that they fall apart after you wash it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I do my brow highlight. I'm so particular about this. I always do it after I do all my eyeshadow, and I just go right up to the arch of my brow, and I lay this flat. I just kind of outline my brow hairs. And it gets like, it looks like I ruined it. Like, wow, why did you do that? And sometimes I'm like, oh no, but don't worry. It will come all together here in just a minute. Okay, so now that I've applied it, I go in with a small blending brush, such as this one, which is also a Morphe brush. I'm sorry, I never use this many Morphe brushes. This is the M514, and I just take this and just right along the edge of my transition shade and the edge of the highlight, I just kind of blend them together. Just like so. Boom. You see that highlight? You see the brow highlight? What? And if I'm feeling like real crazy, I'll put Jeffree Star on top of it, but I'm not feeling real crazy. Okay, so this is it. This is the green look. If you're into it, let me know. I really like this look, and it's really been my go-to lately. Anytime we go and do something and I have a little bit of time to sit down, I do this look. Okay, so I just went in, I just bronzed, highlighted. I put way too much highlighter on, but I was at a point where I couldn't go back, so I just went with it. But I bronzed, highlighted, contoured, set my face real quick with some setting spray, which is like my favorite part, and I feel like that really brings out certain eye looks because I'm lame like that. So I went ahead, took care of that, and this is the final look. I wanted to basically show what I was talking about in my last video because I felt like it kind of didn't make any sense unless you saw it. So basically what I'm just trying to say is that sometimes a black base, even though at first it comes off very harsh and it's a little intimidating, really makes your eyeshadows pop, and it really turns into something more than just a green eyeshadow. Don't get me wrong, these shadows are bomb and they don't need a dark base like that. It just helps, and it's something that I like to do personally. It's something I would do if I was using a purple. It's something I would do using golds, browns, things like that. I used to always do a look like this with like a gold right in the middle, like right in the center of it, and go to work that way. I should have added gold to this. Now I'm sitting here thinking about it, but it is what it is. This is how it looks. I hope you like it, and go ahead and leave me comments, okay? I mean, like, leave me some feedback. I feel like I need more interaction out of people because I don't know what people want to see or what people like that I do. So if there's a certain look that you see me do on Instagram and you're like, damn, how does she do that? Let me know.